Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hare Ram
Hare
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 Ram
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare Ram 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 Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram Hare
Ram
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 Hare
Hare
Hare Hare Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram Hare Ram Ram
Hare
Ram Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram
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 Hare
Ram
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 Hare
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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
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 Hare
Ram
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna 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 Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram Hare
Ram Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare Hare
Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Ram
Hare
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 Ram Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
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 Krishna
Ram,
Hare Hare
Ram
Ram
Ram,
Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Ram
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna
Hare Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare Ram Hare
Ram
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram, Hare
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 Krishna
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare 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 Ram,
Hare Hare Hare
Ram
Ram
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram Ram Hare
Ram,
Ram
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 Ram,
Ram
Hare
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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare
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 Ram Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
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 Ram Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare Ram Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Ram
Ram,
Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare Ram,
Hare Ram Hare
Ram
Ram
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Hare Ram
Hare
Hare Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
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 Ram Hare Ram Ram
Hare
Ram Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Hare
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 Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram Ram
Hare
Ram Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Hare Ram
Hare
Hare Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Ram
Hare
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 Ram Ram
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Ram Hare
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram Hare
Hare
Ram Ram
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram Ram
Ram,
Ram
Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Ram Hare
Ram,
Ram
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 Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare Ram
Hare
Ram Ram Hare
Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Ram
Hare
Hare Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna
Hare Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram Ram
Ram
Ram
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Ram
Radha Shivasadi Gaura
Hare
Bhatani Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
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 Ram
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Hare Ram
Hare
Hare Ram
Krishna,
Ram Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram.
Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare Ram,
Hare
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 Ram,
Ram
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 Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare Ram 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 Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Ram Hare Hare Krishna Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda,
Hare
Sri
Krishna, Hare
Nityananda
Krishna,
Prabhu,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Srivastava
Hare, Hare
Guru,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Nityananda
Ram
Prabhu.
Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. हरे कृष्ण वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रीला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from College Station, Texas, welcoming all of you to Bhakti Sangha conference call. I thank all of you for attending for this session. Please forgive me for interrupting your ecstatic chanting. I would like to read the 10 offenses to the holy name which are to be avoided, written by Srila Vyasadeva in Padma Purana. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2nd, to consider the name of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal or to be independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. 3rd, to disobey the order of the spiritual master. 4, to blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. 5, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6, to give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in Vedas as fruitive activity Karma Kanda. 9, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10, to not to have a complete faith in chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachment even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success of Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining today's Bhakti Sangha conference call. Let us move on to our next part of the session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. Before that, may I know who all joined this morning?
हरे कृष्ण विनीता गंधर्विका माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम शिला प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय प्रीतिदासी फ्रॉम शार्लोट हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna Preeti Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day and giving your assistation. Welcome to the call.
हरे कृष्णा
हरे कृष्ण माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम शिला प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय दिस इज अरविंद दास फ्रॉम शिकागो हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna Arvindaksha Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhuji, for joining every day and announcing your name. Welcome to the call. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Benita Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. My humble obeisances to all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Guru Maharaj. This is Shushmita from Canada.
Hare Krishna Shushmita Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining every day and all glories to your services. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, your Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Lali.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your recitation every single day. Welcome to the call, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. This is.
Yeah, please go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead, Mataji. That's okay, Mataji. You can go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dhanavad pranam. All go Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. This is Radha Pyari Devidasi Baltimore.
Hare Krishna, Radha Pyari Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Very nice to hear your sweet voice this morning, Mataji, and thank you for joining every single day. Welcome to the call, Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Vinita
Krishna,
Gandharva
Mataji.
Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, and all the glories to the assembled devotees. This is Manjri Leela Devidasi from Naperville. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Manjari Leela Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining every day, giving your recitation. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. This is Rakesh. Please accept my humble obeisances. And to all the devotees too, please accept my humble obeisances. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, from which place are you joining, Prabhuji?
I'm from Hyderabad, Mataji.
Okay. Hare
Hyderabad.
Krishna, Rakesh Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'm hearing you for the first time. Did you join only today, Prabhuji?
No, Mataji. I would be joining now and then whenever time permits.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Please join us regularly. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharva Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you, Dandavat Pranam to all the devotees, all glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit.
Hare Krishna, Mohini Lakshmi Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining and giving your recitation. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. I offer my obeisances to all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Ayan Shah from West Bengal.
Hare Krishna, Ayan, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for joining in. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. Vrindavan.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining every day, giving your recitation. Welcome to the call. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Sanatana Dharma Prabhu to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th Canto, 10th chapter, 39th verse. Before I hand over the call to Prabhuji, I request Param Bhavani Shama Mataji to take over and give a brief introduction. Hare Krishna, over to you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much for the opportunity of this service to glorify His Grace Sanatana Dharma Prabhu, our speaker today. Prabhuji is a brahmachari from ISKCON Pune. He is a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj and has been practicing Krishna consciousness for more than 12 years. Prabhuji has studied B.Tech from NIT Trichy. Prabhuji has worked as a senior manager in Tata Motors Pune. His current services includes area management and project development head at areas around Pune. He is a counselor, a youth and corporate preacher, congregation preacher, secretary at Voice Organization, and he is also a remote mentor of NVCC Pune Temple. Prabhuji knows many languages such as English, Hindi, Tamil, Malayalam, Bengali, Marathi, Telugu, and Japanese. His degrees include Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, IDC, and teachers training courses. Hare Krishna. There was a so brief introduction for Prabhuji. Over to you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Param Bhavani Shama Mataji. Thank you so much for reading that introduction. Thank you for your service, Mataji. I think Prabhuji is not yet joined. If anybody would like to introduce themselves, please go ahead. I guess Shama Gauri Mataji want to introduce.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. This is Shama Gauri Devidasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna Shamagauri Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining in. Thank you so much for the services, Mataji. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Please go ahead. Okay, otherwise we will continue chanting until Prabhuji joins.
4 minutes, Mataji.
Yeah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Yeah, Prabhuji is joining in. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining and giving your valuable time and association this morning. And yes, Prabhuji?
I just need 1 minute to set my camera and mic.
Sure.
I can give a better experience too. I can serve better.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining. Prabhuji would like to see us on cameras. Please, if you all are available, please do on your videos. Prabhuji says if you're cooking, that's okay. If you're doing your work, that's okay. Prabhuji wants to have a personal association with devotees. Yeah, Prabhuji is back. Not yet. Mm. Yes, Mataji, that is what Prabhuji requests us to be on the camera. That's what I announced. Please be on
Hare
camera.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for your association.
Pratibha Mataji, please turn on camera. Yes, he's requested. That's correct. Yeah, you can all turn on cameras. And if it's a small group, normally I take attendance, just like in school. Roll number 1, roll number 2, I take attendance and make everybody turn on the video. Because the holy name is powerful. When you chant holy name, Krishna appears. Similarly, when you chant the names of devotees, devotee also appears. Hare Krishna. So you want me to try that? All right, dear devotees, I requested for the class to be delayed a little bit because of my meetings with some devotees from US only. So I request you all to, thank you all for kindly bearing with me. I just wanted a confirmation from all of you if my voice is very clear. You're able to hear me clearly. You're able to see me clearly. I just need one confirmation. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. We'll start with prayers, and I expect and hope and pray that devotees do appear and give me their mercy. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धोभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरं परमानन्दमाधवम्। Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, welcome to today's Bhakti Sang Japa Srimad Bhagavatam class. And I feel very happy, delighted, excited, thrilled to be with all of you. And thank you so much for giving me this wonderful opportunity to serve all of you. I'm able to see the wonderful faces of devotees who have agreed to show mercy. And eventually, I hope and pray others also are merciful unto me. So we are discussing a very special chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are discussing the 7th canto. 7th canto means the entire canto is dedicated to Prahlad Maharaj. It's a conversation between Yudhishthir and Narada. So their conversation, that's how the 7th canto starts. But the 7th canto means Prahlad canto. Yes, it's dedicated to the devotee Prahlad. And this is a very special episode for all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, because when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would sit down to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam with Ramanand Rai, right? And with Gadadhar Pandit, Ramanand Rai will discuss Rasa Tattva. So with Gadadhar Pandit, he would sit down to discuss Bhagavatam. Mainly, he would discuss Dhruv Katha and Prahlad Katha. And he would say, once more, once more, once more, once more. And hear this Katha hundreds of times every day. So you can see how important is the Leela of Prahlad Maharaj, the 7th canto of Bhagavatam. So we are on the 10th chapter. In the 9th chapter, Prahlad Maharaj brilliantly offers his prayers to pacify Narasimhadev, right? And the 10th canto, the 10th chapter of the 7th canto, the title is Prahlad, the best amongst the best among exalted devotees. My God, the best. The best. That is why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would hear again and again, the best. Once Srila Prabhupada was giving a lecture. Srila Prabhupada was giving a lecture, and in the lecture he said, Narad Muni is the best devotee. Yet another time, when he was speaking, he said that Yudhishthir Maharaj is the best devotee. Another time he was speaking, he said Prahlad Maharaj is the best devotee. There was no problem until there was one devotee who sat in all 3 classes. He was the same devotees in all 3 classes, and he was bewildered. So he went up to Prabhupada and asked, Srila Prabhupada, in that lecture on that day in this city, in this country, you said that Prahlad is best devotee. Here you said Narada is the best devotee. There you say Yudhishthira is best devotee. So who is the best devotee? So that's when Prabhupada revealed a secret, that in the spiritual world, everything starts with the best. Yes, Prahlad, the best devotee. That's the name of this chapter. So I'll just give you the split of this chapter. We are on shloka number 39, if I'm right. So I'll just give you what has happened ahead. So what happens is from 1st to the 10th shloka, in the first 10 shlokas, Narasimha Bhagavan offers benedictions to Prahlad, which Prahlad refuses. He gives various reasons why he's refusing. So Prahlad refuses. We'll not get into much of details, but Prahlad said, I am not a businessman. My bhakti is not a business that I do bhakti and take something in return. So he refuses all the benedictions. Yes. So that's what happens in the first 10 shlokas, and there's a beautiful conversation there, right? The next section is the Lord had to convince Prahlad, come on. You need to get. So the Lord is convincing. So Lord convinces Prahlad to get a benediction. Yes. And Prahlad asks for a benedictions. He asks. The Lord convinces him. Come on, you have to. And finally, he gives this famous prayer that Yadi Dasyasi me kaman Varam Dwam Varadarshava Kamanam Hrimasamroham Bhavatastu. Each time he just asks that I want to be free from this material enjoyment. I want to be free from lust. Please liberate my father. Yes, that's the benediction he asks. Please liberate my father. And my God. So Lord says, come on, Prahlad. He tells him that your father is already liberated. He tells. That is done already. Done. Yes, Hiranyakashipu is already liberated. Not only that, your 21 generations are liberated. This is that beautiful section which devotees often quote. Yes, 24 generations are liberated. And then we saw the section of Brahma's prayers, 25 to 31. Brahmaji offers his prayers in pacification. It was Brahma who encouraged Prahlad that you go ahead. The Lord has appeared for you. So you go ahead and pacify the Lord. So his prayers to the Lord. Yes. And Lord replies also. So he does. The Lord replies only with one line. He says, it's dangerous to give boons to such demons. Don't do this in the future. That's his boon. So that's what he was. We can extend this section to Brahma's prayers and also Yudhishthira Narada conversation. All happens there. And then this section, yeah, this particular section which you're going to discuss today, the 39th shloka, so 35 to 45, is going to explain the history, the three births, because this is the original subject. The subject matter started with this discussion because Yudhishthira Maharaj had seen that Shishupal in Rasu Yajna, after being, he was beheaded by the Sudarshan Chakra. What happens is the soul of Shishupal, it moves in front of everybody's eyes, moves, and comes and enters the Lord's body. So Yudhishthira Maharaj he got a doubt, what is this happening? What exactly happened? I want to know what happened. And that's when this discussion starts. Remember? This is the first chapter. So this particular section is going to conclude that discussion. Yes, so this 10th chapter will conclude the discussion. So first to 10 chapters, I'll speak for it. So 3 births of Jai and Vijay. The doorkeepers of Vaikuntha. That is, he's just summarizing the 3 births. The next section, now if you see the Bhagavatam 7.1 to 10 is about a Shuddha Bhakta, because there is Shuddha Bhakti. Yes, and if you see 7.11 to 15, the other 5 chapters, they talk about the Varnashram duties which one should perform. If one is not a Shuddha Bhakta, one should perform the Varnashram duties along with the devotional service, whatever platform of bhakti he is in. So this is something which is what Krishna canvasses Arjuna repeatedly, Nishkam Karma Yoga Sadhana Bhakti or Buddhi Yoga. So that is why this particular section is given. So this is about Shuddha Bhakti, the Srimad Bhagavatam. So I just gave you an overview, a bird's eye view of what we are getting into. So Narad Muni has already explained about all the birds. So if you see the 6 birds, first who comes? There is Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, the HKs. HK is Hare Krishna, but here it's Hiranyakashipu and HK square, both of them. Right? Kashipu, Aksha. I'll just mention it. Then they come as Ravana and Kumbhakaran. Then Shishupal and Dandavakra. He had twisted teeth, Dantavakra. So these 6 demons, they represent the 6 anarthas. Yes, Hiranyakashipu represents false pride. Hiranyaksha represents illusion. He represents greed. He stole Hiranyakashipu was very proud of his position. He became a Triyadisha. He conquered heaven, earth, hellish planets. He had control over all demigods. He was very proud. Hiranyaksha stole away all the gold from the earth. He was greedy. Ravana was lusty towards the Jagannmata, Sita. He represents lust. Kumbhakarna is always sleeping. Those who always sleep, they are in Maya, illusion. Shishupal always abused. Right from his beginning, he was just born, he started abusing Krishna. And Tantavakra, he had only one weapon, the weapon of anger. Yes. So these are the 6 anarthas. Right? So Hiranyakashipu's deliverance was the subject matter. But Narad Muni, however, summarizes all these things. And Narad Muni is such a great devotee that even with them, yes, among them, he's seeing a good quality. He's seeing some good even in these demons. There are such demons, low-class demons, that no parents would ever want to keep such a name to their children. No, we want to always have good names to our children. When we're naming our children, we don't want to name our children after them because they're demons. But Narad Muni is still seeing some good in them. What is that good quality? And we're going to discuss about that theme in today's class. Okay, so we are on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 10, entitled Prahlad, the best among the devotees, best among the exalted devotees, and verse number 39. Enah purvakritam yattat rajanah krishnavairinah jahastente tad atmanah kitapesha krito yatha. So whenever there is a word yatha, here, just telling you, then there has to be an analogy. Yes, analogy. In the previous verses, if you read all the translations, you see that they had completely absorbed in the thought of Lord. Who? Demons. In the 3 births, they have completely been absorbed. So just like in their previous births, fully absorbed in the thought of Lord. Full absorption in thought of Lord. Correct? Once my spiritual master was asked, how do you define Krishna consciousness? He said one word to define Krishna consciousness. You know what's that word? That word is called as absorption. Yes, this is that word in Krishna consciousness. This is one word that summarizes Krishna consciousness, absorption. And if you see, absorption, right? Absorption is a quality of being oblivious completely to the world. When you're performing your sadhana bhakti, when you're chanting your rounds, you are oblivious to the world. That's absorption. Yes, how does absorption come? First, there is attention. Attention means you pay heed to the details. You're taking care of the details is called attention. One, like you're chanting the japa, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You're ensuring the proper pronunciation. Right? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that paying heed to the details is called attention. And number 2, the second ingredient that we need is called awareness. So this awareness means, why am I doing what am I doing? So this is the awareness. Why am I doing this? And if you have a proper philosophical answer that you've heard in Guru Parampara or you have read in Prabhupada books, then you have awareness. And this attention plus awareness will lead to absorption. Yes, absorption is very powerful. Eventually this absorption will turn into attachment, where you cannot live for a moment without Krishna. Yes, this is the attachment that was there among the pure devotees. They were absorbed in the bhajan. You are absorbed in bhajan and you are attached to Krishna. Attachment is towards Krishna. Absorption is in bhajan. the process. Is this clear? And finally, such attachment will develop affection. The affection that the Vrajavasis have for Krishna, Yashodamai, the Gopis, the Gopa friends, Balramji, Nanda Maharaj, all of them. If you see the kind of affection they have, it develops that affection. Yes? So, and we all want to follow in this mood of affection. That's called as Raganuga. We want to get that affection that the Vrajavasis have for Krishna. Rag means that intense thirst. But for doing all that, it's very important that we have absorption. So these demons also had absorption, but it is not considered as Krishna consciousness. Why? Because by such an absorption, it was not favorable to Krishna. But nevertheless, absorption is absorption. That's a very quality of a demon. Who is a demon? Demon is a person who believes. He is a firm believer. He believes, I can kill Krishna. That's the belief that the demon has. Right? And owing to this belief, this demon makes plans. Plans to kill Krishna. Now when you plan to kill Krishna, you definitely plan keeping Krishna in mind. And that's how they develop this absorption to Krishna. Right? Because they have planned to kill Krishna. We're going to see examples as we go through shlokas. Right? So that's the background for the verse. And now we enter today's shloka. This is all preparation. Now what exactly? Now is an analogy, beautiful analogy given here. Translation, I would request somebody to kindly read the translation.
Hey Krishna Prabhuji, I can read.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Translation of Krishna Srila Prabhupada. Not only Shishupala and Dantabakra, but also many other kings who acted as enemies of Krishna attained salvation at the time of death because they thought of the Lord. They received spiritual bodies and forms the same as his, just as worms captured by a black drone obtain the same type of body as the drone. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Yes. So now what exactly is being spoken? The previous verses informed us that these demons were absorbed in Krishna. This was an information. But what was the result of such absorption? What was the result? So that result of absorption is something that's told to us. And what was the result? The result is they also received spiritual bodies. Now this is a clarification. How many of you were there present when the Bhakti Sangh Japa classes happened for the 7th canto, 1st chapter? You were all there? Yes? No? Don't know? Don't remember? See something? Were there? Alright. So that time, if you go back to the 1st chapter, it is mentioned that a soul came out of the body of Shishupal and it moved like that and went inside Krishna's body. So one may feel, hey, I think this fellow got impersonal liberation. How many of you felt like that time? He merged into Brahman. That's what you would think, right? If a light is coming out and it's entering Krishna's body, definitely must be an impersonal liberation. But no. Bhagavatam clarifies in this verse that they got the spiritual form. That was a very temporary state. They entered the body of Krishna, but after entering the body of Krishna, ultimately, they received what? They all received spiritual bodies. Yes, that is the result, spiritual bodies. So many a times people may think, Mayavadis may celebrate in the 1st chapter. But as soon as they come to 10th chapter, you will understand they got spiritual bodies, just like Lord. Just like the Lord. And the analogy given here is that of a worm. There's a worm which is caught by a drone. Drone is a special type of insect. Yes, and this drone captures the worm. And as soon as this insect is captured, the insect thoroughly meditates on its enemy. And because of such a meditation, even that particular insect becomes a drone. Yes, it is looking like two eyes, but all I'm trying to tell is drones. They're drones. Yes, drones. It's not that drone that devotees use to capture helicopter view with the remote. It's going, not that drone. It's something like that insect. And even that drone has come from this drone only. Correct? It's that kind of saucer shaped kind of an insect. That's the power of meditation. Yes, so meditation is very powerful thought. In fact, there's a very stunning verse that comes in the Padma Puran, which I heard from His Holiness Indradumna Swami Maharaj. He said that anybody you think about, yes, you think about anyone, you get 1/100th of their karma. Right? 1/100th of the karma is the gift that you get when you think about somebody. How many of you would want that? At least not me. And usually, what all things do we think about? If it's a typical karmi, they may think about celebrities, Hollywood celebrities, Indians, then Bollywood celebrities, famous sports stars, the people, personalities famous on the Instagram. We might think about all this. So we many times see their glamour life. We see their real life, but we hardly see the real life of how great they have been, how wonderful activities they perform. But we automatically get their karma. That's what happens. That's a part of the package. Just by thinking, that's what you get. 1/100th the karma. So here, when you think about the Supreme Lord, you get the spiritual body. And that's what even Krishna says. Antakale cha mameva smaran mukta kalevaram ya prayati samad bhavam yat na asti samshaya. There is absolutely no doubt. You think of me at the point of death, but when can you think about Krishna at the point of death? You can think about Krishna at the point of death only when you are actually thinking of Krishna. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmarayuddhacha. You're thinking of Krishna constantly. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. Even when, before doing your duties, while doing your duties, we think of Krishna. And that's ultimately Krishna consciousness. In simple words, if you want to know a person's consciousness, you simply have to know his thoughts. What are your thoughts? That's your consciousness. That's something very close. Of course, consciousness is much deeper. But thoughts, something reflects our consciousness. So Krishna consciousness means we have to think about Krishna with our mind. And that's the very goal, right? If you see Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter, 1st verse, Maya sakta manapartha yogam yunjan madashrayam asamshaya samagrammam yatha jnasasi tatshrunu. That's the very goal of yoga, to think. Maya asakta manapartha, mind attached to Krishna. Prabhupada gave 35 lectures on this verse, stating how important is this particular verse for all of us. So that's one thing which is clarified in this verse. They got spiritual bodies because of absorption, and with an analogy of a worm turning into drone because it meditates on the drone. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I would like to read little and we'll explain. The mystery of yogic meditation is explained here. The real yogis always meditate on the form of Vishnu within their hearts. Consequently, at the time of death, they give up their bodies while thinking of the form of Vishnu and thus attain Vishnu Loka, Vaikuntha Loka, where they receive bodily features the same as those of the Lord. From the 6th canto, we have already learned that when the Vishnudutas came from Vaikuntha to deliver Ajamil, they looked exactly like Vishnu with 4 hands and the same features as Vishnu. I'll complete the purport, it's a small one. Therefore, we may conclude that if one practices thinking of Vishnu and is fully absorbed in thinking of him, at the time of death, one returns home back to Godhead. Even enemies of Krishna, who thought of Krishna in fear, bhaya, such as King Kamsa, received bodies in a spiritual identity similar to that of the Lord. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. Hare Krishna. So there are a few points that we want to tell. First of all, we want to understand the special position of Krishna. Shishupal got delivered in the hands of Krishna, not Vishnu. Now, if you see Rupa Goswami Pad, when he wrote the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, he calls Krishna as Vidur Jayati. He calls him as Vidur Jayati. And this word Vidhu, Dhu comes from this dhatu of Dhunoti, which means to cleanse, to clean, one who cleanses. And V means Vishesha Rupena, specifically. One specifically cleanses. Vishesha Rupena Dhunoti iti Vidur. This is the name of Krishna, which is mentioned in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, right in the verse 1, 1.1.1. The Eastern Wave, the first chapter, shloka number 1. Alright? Now here, Krishna is called as Vidhu for a reason. Vishnu is not called a Vishnu. Vidhu may rhyme, but Vishnu is not called as Vidhu. It's Krishna who is called as Vidhu for a reason. Jiva Goswami explains. He says that it's only Krishna who can actually deliver the conditioned soul. Not any other incarnations. It's only Krishna who has the power to liberate the sinful. An example given by Jiva Goswami Path is that Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha. Hiranyakashipu was killed by Narsimhadev. Before that, Varahadev killed Hiranyaksha. He delivered Ramana and Kumbhakaran by Ramchandra. Shishupal, Dandavakra by Krishna. After that, they didn't come back. They didn't come back. One may say, Prabhuji, but these two came as Jagai Madai. What about that? Oh, Jagai Madai came to get Prema, Krishna Prema. So they were in Vaikunta. They were as Vishnu Dasas. But Jagai Madai developed desire that is, Jai Vijay developed desire that they want Prema towards Krishna. Yes, Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Towards that Krishna we want Prema, and that is going to be distributed free of cost. Definitely we should go collect. Like there is a Bhadra Purnima campaign. What happens in Bhadra campaign is Grace Vaishashika Prabhu started this Bhadra campaign where there are free Bhagavatam set distributed. Correct? Sorry, the distribution of Bhagavatam set. Distribution is there. So devotees all focus on that. Imagine somebody tells, in your nearest ISKCON temple, there are 5 sets of Bhagavatam going to be distributed free of cost. How many of you will run to collect it? Actually, I will run. And there's no rule, you can go and collect all 5. Something is free of cost, we'll go and grab. Please, please. Free Chaitanya Charitamrita set. Run and go and get it. Yes, there are free books of Paramhamsa Swami Maharaj. Just teach his name. One of the Sannyasi Maharaj's all book collection. Free. Yes, we'll all go and grab that opportunity, right? So Jai Vijay came back as Jagai and Madai for the purpose of getting that free Krishna Prema. Anarpitam charim chirat. Karunaya avatirana kalau samarpaitum unnata ujvala rasam swabhakti shriya. So they came to grab that Krishna Prema, that opportunity. Right? Otherwise, it was over. Their curse was over. They only had to take 3 births. But if you see, after Krishna delivered them, then they didn't have to come back. So it is Krishna who is special because he is Mukunda. Vishnu is not Mukunda. Rama is not Mukunda. Yes, it is Krishna who is Mukunda. Why? Because Mukunda means one who awards liberation. And that can be only given by Krishna. This is the first thing we wanted to clarify. Yes. So liberating especially the sinful beings. Sinful beings. Now you see Lord Ram, he made Jatayu ascend to Vaikuntha Dham. But liberate the sinful, that only Krishna can do. So that is the speciality that Jiva Goswami explains. Yes, So we have learned two things so far. First thing is that the result of Jaya Vijay, they got spiritual body. They did not merge. No impersonal Brahman. And number two is Krishna, who is the Vidur Jayati. He is the Vishesha Rupena. Now if you look at the yogis, there are two kinds of yogis. One is called a Kuyogi and the second one is called a Suyogi. Now this word, even this word is used many times in Kuyogi Namno, and even Krishna says the same word to Narad Muni also. Aparipakva Kashayanam Durdarshoham Kuyoginam. So Kuyogi, who is a Kuyogi? Kuyogi is a person who is after sense gratification. So we call such a thing as yoga for bhoga. On the other hand, Suyogi is very beautifully defined by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita 6th chapter. Till 24th verse also. Sa nivesheve yoktavvam yogo nirvina chetasa sankalpa prabhavan kamams tyaktva sarvan asheshatah. Suyogi is one who has given up all the sankalpas, the material desires. Given up all material desires and he's focused, meditating on Krishna. Meditation on Paramatma in the heart. So such a person is called as Suyogi. He's meditating. And one what? Nowadays people tell, okay, come for yoga, meditation classes. Yes. And what we are supposed to meditate upon? Nothing. You're supposed to meditate on nothing. Just focus on breathing. Meditate on absolutely nothing. Don't think of anything. Empty your mind. If you don't try all these things. You try all these things, your head will ache. Then your back pain will come. You'll get chest pain, a whole body pain, and eventually you'll give up. Better go for Bhoga only. That's not going to work. Because when you meditate, you need a Dharana Ashraya. And that's what is confirmed in the Bhagavatam also. That's why Srimad Bhagavatam is the top point. You need to meditate, you need a Dharana. You go to Srimad Bhagavatam 2nd canto, 2nd chapter. There's a concept called Dharana Ashraya. Dharana Ashraya. So, Dharana Ashraya means you need an object of meditation, which means object has a form. And even the Jnanis who don't, or I wouldn't say believe, their faith has not come to a level of saturation where they can start putting shelter in the Lord. They also meditate on the impersonal Brahma. They were meditate on Virat Purusha. But they do meditate on a form. They all have Dharana Ashraya. Somebody is materialistic. He meditates on Dharana Ashraya of Virat Purusha. Somebody is already free from material desires. He has done this particular process of Pratyahara. Then he meditates on the Paramatma. Got it? So somebody having material desires is not a Kuyogi. Somebody doing yoga for bhoga is called Kuyogi. On the other hand, Suyogi can be a person who has given up material desires, and second is who wants to give up material desires. He wants to give up and he wants to surrender to Lord. So somebody having material desires is told to meditate on Virat Purusha. And somebody not having material desires is told to meditate. So in either case, there is a form for meditation. Meditation is a form. There is nothing, formless meditation is never encouraged. Even Jnanis have a form to meditate on. So meditation means there has to be a form. And initially when the yogi starts meditating in the heart, is sitting, he imagines an 8 inches form. Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabam Suresham Vishwadaram Gaganasadrisham Megavaranam Shubhangam Lakshmikandam Kamalanayanam Yogi Hridhyanagamyam Vande Vishnum Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokaikanaatam. So he meditates on that. Yes? He meditates on that. Stigra Pravidhanashyamam Sarva Saundarya Sangraham Charvayata Chaturbahu Sujata Ruchirananam Padma Kosha Palasaksham Sudam Suru Sunasikam Subru Sunasikam. So all these parts are mentioned. So he has a conception and he meditates thinking. It's imagination. It is not that he's seeing Paramatma. It is imagination initially. Because if you see the different forms, the process of Nishkam Karma, the Nishkam Karma is for what process? This is to purify one's senses. Because our senses are lusty. So it's to purify, that's the goal. Then you perform Jnana process. The Jnana is to purify the mind. Yes? And Dhyan is to purify what? The intelligence. And once the intelligence is purified, then one can see the Paramatma. Yes? So that's what Krishna also tells the Bhagavad Gita. Jitatmana prashantasya paramatma samahitaha. If one has conquered his internal mind, senses, and of course he's activated his intelligence, then he's achieved the Paramatma. And that is the purpose of Dhyan. The purpose of Dhyan is purifying mind, purpose of Nishkam Karma is purify senses. We progress like this ahead. And the purpose of Dhyan is actually to meditate on Paramatma naturally. So if you look at Narada boy, he naturally could see the Paramatma in the heart. If you look at Dhruva, he naturally saw the Paramatma and then the same Paramatma came out in the form of Bhagavan and gave darshan. Right? On the other hand, many of the yogis, they imagine. It's an imagination. It's an artificial process. But that's a good beginning. Right? So now, one can ask this question that Prabhuji, what is the practical that we can take out of it? Practical. So practical, Prabhupada, if you read the entire 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, I found this section of verses number 18 and 19 especially. These two very practical. This is a very practical section of how to apply the Dhyan Yoga for a devotee. These two, you can take it as homework and read at your own leisure. Because if you see 6.17, first preparation, Yukta Ahara Viharasya. First you have to regulate. And this is true for all yogis, bhakti yogis also. We cannot say that, oh, this is only for Dhyan yogis. It is not for me. No, that is escapism. You have to regulate Yukta Ahara, regulate your eating. Viharasya, regulate your recreation. Yukta Cheshtasa Karmasu, your work has to be regulated. Yukta Swapnavu Bodhasya, Yogo Bhavati, you have to regulate your sleep. 1, 2, 3, 4, all these things have to be regulated. And then, while performing yoga, you will not face dukkha. Dukkha. Regulation, you become dukkha, free from all dukkha. And then Krishna comes to deeper. Unless you do the physical regulation, this is all physical platform. Physically, bodily platform ka regulation. Unless you don't do this, you are not ready for mental regulation. So 6.18 speaks about the mental regulation. Right? And mental regulation, Prabhupada comes to the crux. Now this is all what we mentioned is a very tedious process for these people. For Jnana, Dhyana, these fellows. Right? Karma, Nishkam Karma Yogi is engaging his senses only. He is still on a gross platform. But there also he has to regulate. But for these people, regulation is a very tedious process. It's not easy. It's very difficult. It can even take lifetimes to regulate. But for a bhakta, Prabhupada writes mental regulation is natural. And that's when he gives an example of Ambrish Maharaj. So we know very clearly how Ambrish Maharaj engaged. I'm not going to get into details. We know very well how Ambrish Maharaj engaged his mind, his ears, his nose, everything. But one of the senses is the eyes. Mukundalinga laya darshane drishu. With the eyes, what did Ambrish Maharaj do? With eyes, Ambrish Maharaj saw the form of the deities. Mukundalinga laya darshane drishu. He took darshan. So this process of having the darshan of the deities will naturally, the deities will just enter through your eyes in the mind. And thus, you can very naturally start thinking about them. Yes, you can simply start thinking about it. There was one Prabhupada disciple who had come to our temple. And after the Prabhupada disciple came to our temple, she came and told his Mataji, she told, I am in such a place now. I am in a place where I cannot forget Krishna. Because there are so many devotees, they are doing kirtan, and there are so many photographs. Yes, Prabhupada would say that photographs are actually the windows to the spiritual world. You cannot forget Krishna. So many photos of Krishna. So I can peacefully leave my body seeing these forms. Because just by looking, why did Prabhupada make very beautiful Krishna art gallery? So that just by seeing these photos and pictures, people can become Krishna conscious. You will remember them. Yes, this is the first thing I do. If you have to preach to some corporate preaching, I do is I give them a copy of Gita and I give them a copy of some kind of photo frame. I tell them just go keep it at your desk, your workplace, where you spend most of your time. Just keep it there. And every day just look and pray. Before you start your work, pray. And in the recess, you get any kind of break, just open the book and read. This is a very simple way of becoming Krishna conscious. This is by looking at the photos of the deities. Right? So, Ambarish Maharaj and Prabhupada would say that this particular form, what Dhyan yogis get in the form of Dhyan. Dhyan is which step of Ashtanga Yoga? Dhyan is step number 7 of our Ashtanga Yoga. On the other hand, the same Dhyan comes in the form of Smaran, step number 3 in Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, Smaranam. Yes, it's step number 3. So you can, Prabhupada says through this that how you can see how Bhakti Yogi is more advanced than a Dhyan Yogi or a Hatha Yogi. Because his third step is equivalent to the 7th step of the Ashtanga Yoga. Prabhupada mentions this part. Right? So we get natural smaranam of the deities. This is one way we can be Krishna conscious. Another way we can be Krishna conscious. Prabhupada finally concludes that particular chapter, controlling mental activities, 2 things. Number 1, one has to engage one's mind in Krishna's service by chanting. Number 1. Chanting, very important. Chanting 16 rounds attentively, as attentively as possible. This is one. The second thing that Prabhupada says is it's a must, especially for the Grihasthas, that you must be engaged in the process of deity worship. This increases one's smaranam like anything. Worshipping the deities. It may be laminations. If you're near the temple, better have laminations and go to temple and serve deities. Yes, but each time you worship the deities, every day, 2 times, at least 2 or 3 times you're worshipping deities. How much you're meditating on the deities? A lot of meditation. You're cooking for the deities. There's a lot of awareness. I'm cooking for the Lord. There's so many rules I'll follow. So these all things increases your smaranam of the deities very naturally. And yet third point, which as such Prabhupada doesn't say in the purport, but I wish to say is preaching. When you preach, you remember Krishna more. It's very natural. You go for book distribution. What are you doing? I'm distributing books. For whose pleasure? For Krishna's pleasure. Whose books you're distributing? Krishna's book. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. More smaranam. You're speaking, giving a class. Okay, what class I'm giving? A Bhagavatam class. Okay, Krishna's class. Yes, I'm glorifying Krishna. To whom? To Bhagavata. To other devotees. You increase your smaranam. It increases. Yes, so this is a very natural way of being Krishna conscious. Right? So, if you see many of the demons, the kings, especially this mention of king, Kamsa, but even other demons. Let's look at Aghasur. Aghasur for a long time meditated on Krishna. Yes, he had opened his mouth, his eyes were also opened wide and he was meditating when Krishna will come. So because of this meditation, he also got Sarupya Mukti. We can see. So everything depends on meditation of the form. Not all demons got Sarupya Mukti, the form of the Lord. No. Many of them were liberated. Liberated means their sin and pious activities were nullified. They can start afresh. But getting this kind of Sarupya Mukti, the same form of Lord, was only for those who had... Aghasur is mentioned, the Shastra, because he meditated on Krishna for long, the form of Krishna. Putana got a spiritual body because She served Krishna like a nurse. She had the right dress, doing the right service. That's why she got the body of a nurse, spiritual body. But otherwise, there's the whole theme. I would like to conclude with few pastimes of Prabhupada. So once a reporter asked Srila Prabhupada, where are you all going? Because Prabhupada was telling, if you are lusty, you become dog. You're a glutton, you become pig. So then the reporter was very interested. Prabhupada, where are all of you going, Swamiji? Prabhupada said, we are all going to Krishna Loka, back home, back to Godhead. Haribo. Of course, for that we have to follow Srila Prabhupada's instructions. Without that, we will not go back home, back to God. Right? So that is very amazing. And also, when very unfortunately Jayanand Prabhu had to leave the body, he left the body just a few months before Prabhupada left. And when that happened, Prabhupada immediately had tears in his eyes. He said he was one of my finest disciples, the best disciples. He had given me, the first person to give me $5,000. And then devotees asked, where would have Jayananda gone? So Prabhupada said, yes, if he has thought of Krishna at the time of death, then he definitely would have gone back to Krishna. And if he has thought about something else, well, then he will come back and he will have to practice bhakti. Yeah. And most amazing thing, there were many of Srila Prabhupada's disciples who gave their prime, their youth. There's so much of energy, sweat and toil for pushing Srila Prabhupada's movement. Yeah. And some of them are very unfortunately, they left Krishna consciousness after Prabhupada left the planet. But somehow by Lord's divine arrangement, many of these disciples, they became very, very serious towards the fag end of their life. And they came back to association. And it has been observed multiple times that when a devotee would leave, 2-3 cases we know, would leave and devotees were around, Prabhupada, you have come? And then they left the body. So because they gave their prime youth, and although they might have been distracted for a considerable period of time, but they came back in the end. And it was assured that because they gave their full energy to push on Prabhupada's movement, Prabhupada did come and take them back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. To sum up this particular class, there's only one thing, one theme. We think about the Lord, we get spiritual bodies similar to the Lord. That's the whole sum and substance of this purport. Thank you very much. I can take questions for the next 5 minutes, if there are any.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So beautiful class, and a very, very important takeaways that I received, like attention plus awareness leads to absorption that feeds our consciousness, because without absorption, like, we cannot be Krishna conscious. And also you mentioned about the yogis, ku yogis and su yogis, and you compared the like jnana, like what if where the dhyana is the 7th step, like smarana for ashtanga yoga, like smarana is the 3rd step up for bhakti yoga. So it's like a little bit advanced for us. And another thing you mentioned, like how the like incarnation of Jai Vijay, the 6 are like 6 anarthas, and but Jagai Mata came as to receive the free Krishna Prem. And so it was so beautiful, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for your wonderful class. So I want to see if any hand raised. And also in the chat box, Vrinda Gopika Mataji and as told Koti Koti Dandabad Pranam Sanatan Prabhuji. Very inspiring class. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Gurudev, Panchanga Pranam. Please give your association regularly. And also Gokula Sundari Mataji appreciated you. Manjari Lila Mataji appreciated you. Dear devotees, Sindhu Mataji has a question. Please go ahead, Mataji. Tindu Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. Sorry, I couldn't unmute for a minute there. Prabhu, thank you so much for such a wonderful
Hare Krishna,
class.
Mataji, can you be a little louder? I'm not able to hear you.
Yes, Prabhu. Can you hear me now, Prabhu?
Better.
Hare Krishna.
It's better.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. Very beautiful class, excellent class, Prabhu. I need to go back and revisit the class. But I had one quick question, Prabhu. When you showed that Nishkama Yoga, Nishkama Karma, and I think the third one was Dhyana, which was intelligence, and Nishkama Karma was senses, right? Hare Krishna.
Is there somebody able to hear Mataji? Then you can translate it for me. I just heard this much that you spoke about Nishkam Karma, Jnana Yoga, and then again the voice went down.
Yes, Prabhu. The three steps that you showed, Nishkama Karma, which is for the senses, and the second one I don't remember. The third one was about the intelligence. Is there a way to purify those three, right?
I'm sorry? Is there a way to purify what?
The senses and the mind and the intelligence, because once we purify the intelligence is when we get the Paramatma form, right? We see the form. So is there a way, is it devotional service? How do we get to
Okay,
that?
get your question.
Thank
See,
you.
when it's very, this is called yoga ladder. We go very systematically purifying first the senses. Tasmat tum indriyani yadav niyamya bharatarshava. Krishna says, first senses, then mind, then intelligence. And it's only the process of bhakti which can purify the ego, the false ego. But bhakti directly attacks the false ego. If there is no false ego left, then automatically the senses, the mind, intelligence all get purified. This happens automatically, right? Because if there is no false ego existing, these things cannot exist. Because ultimately, they are the servants of the false ego. If the false ego is purified, there is so if you perform the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Shravanam and Kirtanam, that's the process of bhakti given to us. Automatically, you will see that the false ego, it melts. Jarayati ashuya kosham jigirno anuloyata. It burns. The subtle body burns. And thus you are discovered. The covering is removed. Is it okay? I can take one more question. Last question.
Anuradha Mataji. Anuradha Mataji, can you please go ahead?
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhu, I just wanted to confirm throughout the class what I was more getting. It's like, it's not just practicing the bhakti, but also how the intensity that we practice it with. Like, how much we take the process to our heart. Like, we might be chanting, but are we really serious about it? We might be doing. So, yeah, like, is it the understanding correct? Is it also not just practicing on the number of years, but also the intensity that we do it with?
Okay, what is your definition of intensity?
Like I will take as a mother, when I'm taking care of my child, it's not just, okay, I have to do. It's not just as I have heard it long time back from you. It's not just a duty, it's a preeti. So that's what I was thinking as an intensity.
Yes, the feelings.
Yes,
I'll show you a nice purport. We'll conclude with that. Before this, I think this 26. I typed by mistake 36. Can you please read this for me? I just highlight a section.
Yeah. It is said in the Shastra that by once uttering the holy name of the Lord, the sinner gets rid of a quantity of sins that he is unable to commit. Such is the power of uttering the holy name of the Lord. There is not the least exaggeration in this statement. Actually, the Lord's holy name has such powerful potency, but there is a quality to such utterance also. It depends on the quality of feeling. A helpless man can feelingly utter the holy name of the Lord, whereas a man who utters the same holy name in great material satisfaction cannot be so sincere.
So there is a quality in our sadhanas. Intensity comes tivrena bhakti yogena. Tivrena, intensity. So our sadhana becomes intense when there is quality. Now in India, we get milk. I don't know about that place. We get milk, and milk is a very important preparation, but milk is mixed with water. Yes, there is a huge quantity of water that is mixed in the milk and given. So we try to condense that milk, remove the water, then you get that intensity. So it's all about quality. What is the quality of the milk there? So similarly, what is the quality of our bhakti? Quality depends on feeling. Now, if you see how exactly we develop this feeling is developed. The obstacle to develop this feeling is Janma. That's the whole Janma Ishwari Shrutashri. The more we identify with our birth, education, with our beauty and wealth, these four things, we will not be able to call out to Krishna feeling. And what saps our feeling to call out for Krishna is the bodily concept of life. On the other hand, when you have the right conception of life, Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram, so that particular shloka of Shikshashtakam, when we pray that, then we ideally understand what's our identity, and definitely we will be able to call out Krishna with some feeling. And with that feeling, let's call out and keep improving that feeling. Okay. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you so much. I have a hard stop at 6, so I'll have to move. However, I am extremely grateful to every one of you for, at least some of you turn on your videos and others, they did come and you participated in the class and asked such good questions. So I'm so very grateful. Thank you all very much. Looking forward to serving all of you again. Thank you. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthrat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Samast Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanandi.
Hari Hari
Hari
Thank you.
Thank you
Bol.
so much, Prabhuji. What a wonderful
Thank
class.
you,
Please give us
Prabhuji.
your
Very
closing
wonderful
Hare
class.
Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare
Jai
Krishna.
Guru Srimad
Jai
Bhagavatam. Sanatana Dharma Prabhu Ji ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.